revitalize local agricultural with hemp as a centerpiece to a renewable future. They continue to bring leading edge technology to their facilities as they build services to support their grower network. Driftless has positioned itself in the marketplace for multiple renewable hemp products, including packaging, fiber composites, extracts, powders, and seed oils. The show is yours, Simon.
Thanks, Tim. I want to thank everybody for giving me a few minutes. Driftless was founded a couple of years ago, and the ultimate goal of the company is to really drive renewable materials in order to achieve aggressive climate carbon targets that the world stage has set out for us. It's still a really immature process, and it's still a really immature industry. And we knew that there was an opportunity that was provided with cannabinoids in 2019. That was really the first production season that Wisconsin was really allowed to participate. And so our group, the founders all have professional backgrounds, and we set up a 3-phase plan where we could capitalize on cannabinoids early and parlay some of those profits into long-term research and development into the fiber plant and really be one of the real drivers in the Midwest region for renewable fibers. And if you aren't a cash flow business, you really just have a science experiment. And so in order to kind of come forth into the market and be disruptive, we felt we had to build a cash flow business first and then parlay that into R&D and then come out with a commercial solution in fiber. In order to do that, we decided we needed to build a high performance team and push both initiatives basically at the same time. The first target everyone knows about, the cannabinoid market is estimated to be about $12.4 billion by the year 2023. That is a market that we're already to market in. We're participating in that space, but we've got our eyes on a bigger prize, and that's a $425 billion market by 2027, using agriculture to really drive renewable materials and think in longer terms of fiber packaging and plastics, that we can transition current growers selfishly in the Midwest region into not just having a tool to grow for food and feed, but also being able to grow hemp as a cultivation crop, take rotation slots out of traditional row crops, and grow for long-term packaging as well. The founders group that we have, it's a kind of a family-oriented story. So my dad, Ed Liegel Sr., he's on the right there. He's got a master's in soils from UW-Madison. He ran the University of Wisconsin Soil Lab for 6 years. He's been a certified agronomist throughout this state and in the Midwest for the last 40. He's kind of really important to our growth trajectory in the next handful of years. His grower network is about 70,000 acres, and he provides long-term recommendations on nutrient management plans, seed, genetics, fertility, and it'll allow us to really push fiber production long-term. It doesn't work. You can't grow fiber at 1 or 2 acres at a time. You have to grow it in thousands of acres to get enough raw material and enough feedstock into your manufacturing facility. It's a commodities-based business to start, and you have to have a really good, robust row crop infrastructure and row crop network to really drive production. He'll allow us to really put it on a lot of acres really quickly, and additionally drive the economics down. The lower we can get the raw material to decortication, the better chance we have of pushing it up the supply chain and really converting manufacturers. On the left there is Ed Liegel. He's my older brother, so there's 2 Eds on the team. Ed's a structural engineer by trade. He ran a team of about 50 engineers in Madison, Wisconsin, big breakwater projects all around the world, lots of projects in mining and gas. Ed brings a pretty corporate atmosphere to our team, works really well with our attorneys on contract language, so on and so forth. Mike there right next to him, Mike Bindle's got a software engineering degree. He worked on safety critical systems and embedded code for about 13 years, worked for Airbus, worked for Boeing, did a lot of work for Avista. Mike's super detail oriented. He kind of leads the teams in compliance, day-to-day QMS, and then delivering on longer term projects for bigger suppliers. Down on the bottom there we're the 2 finance guys. So my name's Simon. I'm the middle brother of 3. Sam there is on top. I have a background in VC and private equity and also in day-to-day money management. So I come from the capital market world. We funded the company thus far with a number of different high net worth individuals, and our job is to make sure that Driftless has the resources that it needs to kind of push into these markets and go aggressively after market share. We do have two individuals on our advisory board. Josh Hendricks is a former executive of CV Sciences. It's a publicly traded CBD company. He was a founding member of the Hemp Roundtable. So the Hemp Roundtable, for those of you that don't know, is the premier lobbying body in the space. Josh and Senator McConnell were kind of key of getting not only the 2014 bill, but the 2018 Farm Bill, getting it across the line. He's partnering with the Hemp Authority to actually deliver statutes and standards, which would require FDA to provide guidance and regulate the industry. It's something we're desperate for in order to legitimize the industry and really allow demand to mushroom. Josh, we recently, we added him to the advisory board in Q4 of 2020. We recently brought him on full time. Todd Wagner also is part of the board, and he's a former business development or VP of business development at Eurofins North America. They're one of the preeminent testers in the hemp and CBD space. Todd allows us to really lever his knowledge in quality management, but also, a lot of the bigger groups that are in the hemp and the CBD space rely on Eurofins for test results. So he's made warm introductions to really large groups to allow us to kind of jump off on offtake agreements. So just a bit of history, a three-phase business plan. The first phase was to build a cash flow cannabinoids business. We've done that. 29 USDA certified organic products to market. We've got roughly 59% margin. That's a mean number through all the products. We've had really good success transitioning current brands into an organic product. So providing them a full turnkey solution to switch over to a certified organic product without having to interrupt their current supply chain. All the systems we build are continuous feed to really drive down operational expenditures. And this is important to us. The processing equipment we have on the agriculture side already classifies the plant into multiple products. So we're getting clean herd separation and clean bass separation along with flower and leaf material. That allows us to really develop 3 different markets all at the same time. We've got a pretty long range plan of a dual crop future. Flower and fiber here works in Wisconsin and it works well. It'll drive down the cost per acre on the cannabinoid side, but also allow the fiber producers to have more revenue off each acre of crop. Everyone thinks that fiber is going to work all over the world and it's going to work in every category and on every single acre, and they're just wrong. You have to compete for traditional roast lots with traditional conventional corn. It doesn't work on 250 bushel per acre corn. It really only works magically between 150 and 180 bushels per acre. So how can we really drive penetration? The way to do that is to give growers multiple crops to capitalize on. A few images of some of the cultivations we've done in the past. You can see big professional agriculture, GPS guidance, all mechanical. We don't really do anything by hand. Some images from the first facility we built out. This is already at scale. This is for, we built this in mind for club pack producers. Think Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club. When they want to do a white label retail brand of their own, they need a really large partner that can bring in big cultivation, all of the same size, and essentially harvest it at the same window. That's all the same variety. That'll all come through on the distillate in the end. And we need to make sure it's really, really consistent, and we can do it in pretty large scale. The second facility that we're building out now is our headquarters. Both of these 2 facilities are agriculture, and our current headquarters are long-term lease to owns. The headquarters that I'm actually speaking out of today, it's about 10,000 square. The municipality that we're in actually owns the building. They built it in the middle of the Great Recession. It was finished in 2012. It won the 2012 Green Tech Award. It's got a large solar system, a big geothermal heat system. But they were kind of in a pinch. They don't have a ton of takers for the building. It's a beautiful building, but we're in a town of about 800 people. And so we negotiated a pretty aggressive contract on this. If you just give us a simple 6% cap rate, we negotiated essentially 45% market rate purchase lock. So we can purchase the building for $1 million. In addition to that, 75% of all lease payments we make from now until 2026 will credit back towards that purchase price, essentially giving us an option to purchase the building in 2026 for $250,000. Additionally, the ethanol system that we're building out here, they've worked with us to help get a solution to excise tax. For those of you that don't know, in extraction, using certified organic ethanol is a great solution for those that want an organic product. But there's an excise tax associated with it. So we can get big bulk ethanol for $8 a gallon. The excise tax is 27. Municipalities are given an automatic exemption from excise tax, which they actually don't even need to file with the IRS. So they've allowed us to really lease ethanol directly from them, and they'll maintain the purchase agreement. We built out an ingredients side of the business to really allow other brands to kind of convert to an organic brand. Internally, we knew we needed our own product as well. We did a pretty robust market analysis, hired a brand consultant, and this is what we came forward with. Everything was built the same way that we saw. Typically neutral or female dominated brands, more towards the granola higher end clientele. We kind of worked in reverse. So we decided we wanted to work with an essential worker and build something that everybody could purchase and price it where we can go for large volume and still maintain margin for the retailer. The first 4 products you see to market are on the screen here. Powder coat is a body powder. We've got a traditional tincture. We've got a cream called elbow grease, and we've got a coffee product to market as well that's called Daily Grind. The idea behind Workman's Relief is to target everyday essential workers around the globe and really bring them the highest quality products. So, our tincture is a good example. It's got 3,000 milligrams of CBD. Our closest competitor in the demographic, we feel like, is a company called Global Widget. They make a brand called Hemp Bombs. Their 3,000 milligram tincture sells for $170. Ours sells for $39.99. Ours is certified organic. Theirs uses isolate. We just have a lot better product to market than they do. And we feel like we want to set a price that we're not going to have to lower. All the other brands are going to have to come to us. We still have 200% margin through that product to market just because we're vertical. So we're here to disrupt the space. We're going after market share, and we're doing it in a way that we're trying to tap into a demographic that hasn't been serviced yet. And it fits in a lot of different categories. We're excited to announce this kind of change since the last time I presented to Tim's group. The terms are finalized. We are launching with our first distributor, a 1,500 store distributor across the country. That brand launch is the 1st of March. In addition, we've added 3 more distributors, which are currently doing due diligence on the brand. So we launched the brand on August 1st. We're in about 125 locations throughout the Midwest. But we've got our eyes on a bigger prize. And we're excited to announce our first brand launch with our first distribution partner, and we anticipate there's many more to come. So that's really phase 1 of our plan. That's build a cannabinoid business. But again, phase 2 and phase 3 are all built around fiber. And so we want to do the same. We want to work at the same pace in fiber that we're working in the cannabinoid business. And so we filed for our own internal 501c3. It's called the Wisconsin Hemp Technology Accelerator Program. And that's really designed to take public funding and tax exempt funding, do research in-house, and then come forward with a commercial product or project. We want to use laboratory type settings to develop products here and then provide kind of the roadmap for other industries to start utilizing raw material. In addition, we want to come forth with a large scale decortication, spinning, spooling, and weaving facility that'll be a kind of a first of its kind in the Midwest. There are 2 projects in the United States that are going in right now. They're both currently funded. One's in Texas, one's in Montana. The Mid-Atlantic, the Midwest, and out east, they're still open targets for production. So we brought on a guy by the name of Trevor Riddle to really administer our 501c3 and shepherd our fiber story. Trey's got an amazing background. He's a PhD from Montana State. He's developed multiple patents using plant materials and sustainable composites. He did that at both Cornell and Montana State. He ran his own fiber and composite company called Sunstrand. And Trey is actually the lead consultant on the project in Montana. So Trey is really administering our 501c3 and then providing us a come-to-market strategy, a feasibility study, and a robust yield analysis, all in 2021. In addition, we're going to install a pilot line decorticator in our ag facility that's about 15 miles from the facility I'm in today. And that'll actually provide raw materials to future customers and essentially industry that we want to start converting. We're not going to be able to convert plastic manufacturers overnight. If we can just start converting 1 or 2 or 3% of some of their product lines, the story will catch on, and they'll be able to tell their customers that they're participating in a sustainable story. You know, it's a lot like electric vehicles. 10 years ago, there was really one company doing anything in the sustainable electric vehicle market. Over the last 24 months, we've seen equity markets just go bananas over electric vehicle manufacturing. We think sustainable materials is going to follow a similar track. It's going to be required for climate targets. In addition, we've had representatives from DOD on site 2 different times. They presented us with a collaborative research and development agreement. The Department of Defense, the group that's looking at us is called TACOM. They want to partner in research with us. It's part of Light Tactical Vehicle Division, and they're looking for a number of things, but 2 things that they've told us kind of resonate. Number 1, they need a domestic supply chain. Everything has to be produced here. COVID kind of accentuated that, but that's been a DOD requirement for a long time. Additionally, they think that Congress is going to legislate much like the European Union has and require materials to be sourced sustainably, and at least a percentage of them to be sourced sustainably. They don't know when that legislation is coming, but they're trying to map out their supply chain to be able to fit that mold when that comes. We feel like we're a really likely candidate for this specific division. These are made only a couple hours from our facility, and they want to partner on research. So additionally, we co-sponsored a grant with a group called Hana Dynamics. That's for a hemp composite for the U.S. Navy, and DOD and a couple others provided a warm introduction to Ford Motor Company with us in about this time last year. If you get anything out of our presentation today, it's this. This is what we want to do. This is Driftless Future. Yeah, we like the cannabinoid market. You can make a cash flow business, but the market we don't think is really big enough. The opportunity we want to go after is sustainable manufacturing. It's really, really young yet. It's got a long way to go before it becomes a mature market, but there is a significant opportunity for the players that want to set roots. We want to create clusters of economic development, and we want to do that in rural regions that you can sell the story for economic development grants. Here's a marriage between agriculture and manufacturing, and we're giving growers a tool to drive up the price of corn and beans of alfalfa because we're competing for rotation slots in traditional conventional agriculture. A little bit about Driftless, just quick. These are the first 20 months of incorporation. We just plotted the trend lines here for revenue versus expenses. It's a pretty compelling story for a group our size and in the length of time we've been incorporated. We are still a startup, so we have variable costs and we have variable revenue, but both options are obviously both metrics here are trending in the right direction for us. So the offering itself, we filed for Rule 504. It's a $300 per unit. The minimum is 85 units. It's $1 million round. We've got about 460,000 raised. It's a $12 million pre-money valuation. If you are a state of Wisconsin resident, you do qualify for state of Wisconsin income tax credit. We've had a really robust fundraising history for the company. So we raised 3.25 before this round. We're now at 3.6 and some change. I have pretty good confidence that we'll get the money in sometime in the middle to late next month, but there still is obviously availability in the round. What are we going to use it for? So the majority of it is going to be for 2 things. The first is CapEx infrastructure. So we're actually installing back-end finishing equipment on lots of the materials we're to market with for both our contract manufacturing projects and for our own internal retail brand. That's formulation, packaging, distillation, general manufacturing, and remediation. That's about half of the money. The other half, the majority of it is going to go into, we're building out a bigger team. So we're now a team of about 14 employees. We have 4 more sales groups coming online, 2 in the Mid-Atlantic, 1 in California, 1 in Minneapolis, 1 in Chicago. We've got pretty bold plans for Q3 and Q4 of this year and how we're gonna spread that map out. But additionally, a robust advertising and marketing budget. So we're just about to inking a deal with the group that does all the marketing and advertising for Duluth Trading Company. They've done a tremendous job with that brand. It fits our demographic, and we're real close with them. It'll likely be signed by the end of this month. Just a quick pro forma, you know, the biggest number that I'm super proud of on this is our 2019 EBITDA number. We were positive EBITDA in the first after 9 months of inception. There's not a lot of groups that can do that. You can see how we projected out the revenue. We feel like this is probably conservative, but we're doing that without real robust guidance from the FDA. If we get FDA regulation, I believe these numbers will be significantly larger. With that, you know, I try to do these as fast as I can. Tim has guided me since I've started doing this on getting it short and getting to the Q&A. So I'm going to open it up.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you for your presentation today. We do have a question coming in.
So the carbon foot. Do you want to read them, Tim, or you want me to?
Yeah, let's look. We have a question here. What's the carbon footprint of the mega grows?
So the beautiful thing about hemp is all of those grows are actually a negative carbon footprint. Hemp is one of the best remediator of soils, but it's also the fastest sequester of traditional row crops. So we're at a carbon negative production. We're pulling carbon out of the atmosphere, growing hemp, and then we're turning that carbon into plant material. The plant material we then push up the supply chain to go into manufactured products. It's a way to take it out of the atmosphere and put it in things instead of pulling it out of the ground and turning it into things.
Sure. Simon, can you stop your share, please?
Oh yeah, you bet.
Thank you so much. It threw me off, I guess. Our next question here is actually the very good question. So anonymous attendee, where can people go to invest?
You can email me direct. I just put my email address in the chat window, or you know, Tim, if you can help guide people to my contact information. I'm lead on capital raising, so I can walk you through. I can get you copies of decks, or if you want to look at offering documents or operating agreements, happy to provide. I'll be the lead contact, so if you can get a hold of me, that'd be the fastest way to do it.
Excellent. And there is also contact information is already published. And I think we'll just get your updated pitch deck. If you could send that to us, we can add that to the site there at linkedventures.net under offerings, current offerings. So there is contact information, pitch decks, access to deal rooms, everything that you need to be able to get in contact with the presenters here today.
And I encourage you to come see me after the presentation if you want to. I'll be in the what do you call it, Tim?
The networking meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Good. Thank you for reminding me, Simon. We do have the networking meeting. If you want to talk with Simon, you'll also be able to talk with Simon, Flavia, John, all of our presenters here today, including our next presenter. Thank you so much for your presentation.